How many of you actually knew that Jeffrey Dahmer was murdered in prison alongside another convicted murderer? Honestly, I did not know. Let's talk about these two folks. So this was salesman Jesse Anderson, who was born in Illinois but then eventually would move to Wisconsin. Later down the road, Jesse would eventually marry Barbara and they had 3 children together. Well, apparently by 1992, the marriage wasn't going so well. Jesse thought the marriage was failing. So he wanted to give it one more shot, right? On the night of April 21st, 1992, he took his wife out to go see a movie, and then afterwards they went to go have dinner, and at that point he planned to try to reconcile their marriage. Apparently it didn't go well. After they left the TGI Fridays that they were eating at in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they would walk to their car, and not too soon afterward, police were called because there were 2 people on the ground bleeding. It was Jesse Anderson and his wife, Barbara. They had both apparently been stabbed. Barbara immediately went into a coma and would eventually die a couple days later, but Jesse, who had 4 stab wounds to his chest, would survive. Most of his stab wounds were superficial. Barbara was stabbed 21 times in the face. Jesse said that the assailants were 2 black men. He said he managed to knock off one of their hats, a Los Angeles Clippers hat. So police were looking for 2 black men who have done this. Well, in their investigation, it turns out that it wasn't 2 black men. It was Jesse Anderson who stabbed his wife multiple times in the face. By using forensic smarts and also witness testimony, that's how they came to that conclusion. Jesse had bought the hat from this man that same day. Jesse was convicted and sentenced to 60 years to life. He would eventually end up in the same prison as Jeffrey Dahmer. And also, Christopher Scarver. Christopher was working in Milwaukee at a conservation corps job group. He was promised a full-time position at this job by a man who eventually that man would be terminated from the company. Therefore, Scarver's promotion to full-time never got to happen. So on June 1st, 1990, he went to his place of work and he confronted the person who replaced the man who promised him a full-time job. That man was named Steve Lohman, and he was demanding money from him. And he was pointing a gun at Steve Lohman. He was drunk, he was crazy. When Steve only gave him a few bucks, he shot him directly in the forehead, killing him instantly, and then shot him 2 more times after he was dead. Another person there would end up giving him a $3,000 check, and he let them live. He found out that Jeffrey Dahmer was specifically targeting black young men. He also found out that Jesse Anderson tried to frame 2 black men for a murder he committed. So, while on cleaning duty in a locker room at the prison, he beat both men to death with a metal bar. He's now serving 3 life sentences without parole.